Could you feel how much he was just
Hmm.
feeling tortured by the fact that it's like I have all this inside and I don't have the tools to get it out? But I
Hmm.
want you to know.
Hmm.
He really wants you to know. Really wants you to know. The biggest thing he just wants to tell you is please forgive yourself. Oh, is there some man that you need to forgive too? This is not blood related either. I just have to say, there's a few different people. Your dad says you feel like you have to forgive other people, but the biggest person that you have to forgive is yourself because you're holding yourself to the most unrealistic expectations and standards right now that anybody could. I don't know if you're known to other people for being so fucking hard on yourself. And he wishes you to let go of that and give yourself forgiveness so that you can live this life in a place of absolute joy. I get brought back to something I talked about a little bit earlier, which would be a romantic heartbreak for you in the past with a man. Do you understand that piece? It just feels like you're no longer with a certain person that would have been a significant partner for you
Hmm.
in your
Hmm.
life. There's some kind of connection between this ex partner of yours and your dad. There's something about this man that reminded you of your dad, but not
Yes.
necessarily in a good way. Do you understand that?
No. Yeah.
And it makes me feel as soon as I bring up this man that your dad wants to apologize. That whole saying about how we choose people according to what we learned. And he says you understand this more than anybody too,
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
you understand that there are roles that play out and we just completely undervalue as humans and as a society how much they teach us and how much they affect us and how much they normalize certain behaviors he says that aren't normal.
Hmm.
And so we come to find people like our parents without asking all the questions or without noticing that things can be better, is how I have to say it. Now, one thing I have to make really clear as I say this is that none of this is about faulting. None of this is about berating for mistakes because he's telling me that you will easily go down that road. Do you understand that?
Hmm.
Nothing about this message your dad says is about going down that road. I'm sorry for teaching you that love looked differently than it really looks.
Hmm.
So when you went looking for it and you went finding it, you already knew because there were red flags from the very beginning.
Yeah.
But the fact is, when we need love, because we all need love, sometimes we'll just go where we can find it at the time. And then
Hmm.
we'll learn that lesson as we go.
Hmm.
But if I could do anything over again, I wish I would have been a better example of what love is.
Hmm.
I can tell you that your dad has spent ample time reflecting. He says
Hmm.
becoming more aware of himself because there's a lack
Hmm.
of awareness about your dad
Yeah.
in his
Yeah.
own world, doing his own thing.
Hmm.
Gosh, did it cause pain for other people? Is there a brother of yours who's also living? Okay.
Hmm.
Is your brother either is really struggling or has really struggled with this? Do you understand that piece? Your brother is doing a really hard self-blame thing. This is a legacy in the family. Your mom did it
Hmm.
too, didn't she?
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
almost like everybody blamed themselves for the fact that he was making life hard.
Hmm.
And instead of it being on him, there's something about your dad too, where he's just like, I took so little blame that it messed with everybody's minds. Wait, are we the ones that are crazy? Should we be doing something different? This is very psychological. There were moments where he'd be like egotistical pride, but really it was covering something up. But this would be a true pride from him right now and seeing, wow, you're a smart cookie, huh? Really smart. It's almost like you torture yourself, total intellectual. It's like you can think your way into anything. That's sometimes the problem. And you've been working for a while on getting your body, which has been programmed in this way when you were young, to like match up with what you already know. You know that you don't have to be guilty about it. You know that a lot of the stuff was not your fault at all.
Hmm.
And it takes time to get there, as you know. There's always been a yearning for his love deep within you that's been a complete void. And that's some of the things that have played up in relationships over time as well. It makes me feel like your dad would say, sending you the kind of human that I couldn't be,
Hmm.
sending a kind of person that you deserve, and don't shoot the messenger, but he says there's a little bit more work to do in terms of you trusting other people because this is a tricky part for you. Part of the reason that other relationship broke up was not just because this man was not everything he needed to be good to you, but it's also because you keep people at arm's length for a really long time. And your dad does talk about loneliness right now as well, because that is a burden you've carried out of protection. You've expended more time trying to take care of people who don't want it or can't receive it than opening up and starting to trust people again. None of this is a blame. None of this is a judgment, not even close. It's just an observation through a very loving lens because spirit will always deliver the message that they believe is going to give you the absolute most healing and ability to enjoy your life. And
Mm.
believe it or not, even though this was not your dad when he was here, there's nothing he wants more than for you to enjoy your life. Huge acknowledgement because taking care of your mom is one of the hardest things that you have ever done. But there have been plenty of hard things. So for me to say that is a big deal because this is not the only horribly hard thing that you've had to go through before. And your father makes me feel that you have just stayed the course, that you are actually a loyalist and you just keep showing up, which is hard to do given everything we talked about with your mom because there's loose ends that haven't been tied up. And they're not necessarily going to be in the way that you wish they would have. And that is something you're just coming to terms with, but it's painfully hard, especially right at this moment, right at this time, it's painfully hard. And it's
Mhm.
very conscious for you.
Mhm.
Did you go see your dad before he passed? Yeah. There was a very serious effort on your part, I would say, more than his, to try to find resolve or resolution in that relationship before he passed. He makes me feel like I'm so glad that you did that because that is something that's given both of you a lot more peace. It wasn't perfect, far from perfect, right? But
Yeah.
you know in yourself that you made that effort. He makes me feel also that he wasn't as entirely receptive as you would have wanted. Do you understand that? He
Mhm.
opened up as much as he possibly could emotionally, and there was a limit to that.
Yeah.
You were hopeful, and it
Mhm.
did not surpass your expectations or even meet them. It was a little bit underneath your expectations, I would say.
Uh-huh.
You kind of left having to think about it a little bit like, was that progress? I absolutely think it was, but wasn't quite what I was hoping for, to be really honest
Uh-huh.
with myself, right? I wanted to feel like something I haven't felt with him. I wanted to feel a really amazing connection. And he just says, like, I during my life, I did not get to the place where I knew how to do emotions in that way.
Yeah.
It wasn't because I didn't want to. Underneath those feelings, I don't know if you could sense that he wanted to hug you and hold you and say, I'm sorry, and tell you he loved you like crazy. But I'm not sure any of those words came out. Do you understand that?
Mhm.
Could you feel how much he was just
Mhm.
feeling tortured by the fact that it's like I have all this inside and I don't have the tools to get it out? But I
Mhm.
want you to know.
Mhm.
He really wants you to know. Really wants you to know. There's something that he left behind of his that you have. And I don't know if it's a wallet or something else or a watch. It makes me feel like there's some keepsake from him. It's not especially nice either. It's worn out. It feels older.
The
It feels like
wallet.
it's the wallet. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a wallet or it's a watch, and you have it. And it looks really beat up and rugged, but it's
Uh-huh.
so special to you. It's one of the only things you have of his. Do you understand that?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Was there a picture inside that you found of you?
There's a picture of my brother and I. Yeah.
I was going to say, he said,
Very old
I
picture.
know you were little, weren't you in the
Yeah.
pictures?
Yeah.
He said you
Yeah.
found the pictures of yourself inside his wallet. I think that made you feel really special. Do you understand that?
Mhm.
Because he carried him everywhere. He just was so unable to express a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like so deep inside.
Yeah.
And there must have been some kind of moment because he just said, like, my whole body was aching to just hold you and hug you. But I couldn't do it. And you know that I couldn't do it.
Mhm. It's just so healing for me because I felt so alone in all of this in my life, but also with knowing about my ancestors and understanding their pain and trying to work with it here in this incarnation in this body. And not knowing a lot of the way how, but just to know that I have their blessings, and that to know what I'm feeling is true, that yes, that pain lives inside me too, and I am committed to transcending and healing it for myself, but also for them too. So that is just so affirming to hear their acknowledgement and their celebration and their encouragement of me in my life.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't have to carry it in that way, and all circuits are blown right now.
I'm so happy.